Hey guys, welcome to FreeBalanceClasses.com. I'm Tiazla and I've been teaching you a few moves to do with the icy swings lately. So make sure you check out before you even start this video, which shows you how to frame the basic moves that you know, like hip drops, hip kicks, shimmies, you know, etc. How to frame those with the icy swings. Before you even check out this video, please make sure you check out the other ones about, you know, your basic tips about, you know, the icy swings, things that I really feel like you need to know before you start. And then maybe a little bit of stretching, especially if you have any shoulder injuries. You know, things like that, just like basic tips about how to hold. There's another video about how to hold the icy swing. So check those out and then, you know, move on to this, especially if you're a beginner, if you've never learned those things before. Now, let's talk about some of the basic moves like hip drops, kicks, and so on, and how to frame. So basically, everything that you know how to do in belly dance, you can frame with icy swings. So let's say you opened, I also showed you, there was another video about how like you open your dance, you know, how to start your dance with different icy wings. By the way, excuse my wings, I mean, they're a lot broken. They really are broken. I just haven't taken the time to fix them. So if you see a little, you know what it's all about. I'm trying to hold them the right way, but not the easiest thing, right? Okay, so let's talk about hip drops. So you can actually do like a close and open and give me that nice little stand on the side, and then from there you can do your hip drops. Okay, and you can add some kicks to them, you know, that obviously is all up to you, so you can just do simple hip drops, or you can do the drops and kicks, drops and kicks, drops and kicks. One of the fun things also to do is to kind of like frame the kicks. You can also do framing the kicks, right? So you can do drop, kick, drop, kick, drop, kick, drop, kick. So you can do drop, drop, kick. I like it more with drop, drop, kick, right? Or drop, 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 kick. So like 1, 2, 3, and then bam. And then with that 4, you can do a little sweep with the wing. You can do that. The thing about it is it's kind of cute. It's good timing, but also it could hide your move. Like you don't really see that you're actually kicking. It's like, whoop, there's all this stuff going on there. Not good, not bad. It's just different. Be aware of it. So it's whatever you like. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know. I do advise you to do the swinging and the waving motion to frame the kick when you have a slow kick. Don't do it when you have a fast kick, because it will be like, da-da-da, 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 you know, and you're going to break your stick and you're going to look like, you know, belly dance on crack, so it doesn't look good. So fast moves, not cool. Slow moves, totally okay. So like if you have a 2 count to do the kick, you know, sometimes we do have that, then 1, 2 would be nice, okay? So that's one thing about the hip drops. If you add the kicks to them, you can add the little wave at the same time. You can also do the same thing with the hip kicks. So with the hip kicks, you really kind of want to be centered a lot of times. So you can either drop the veils and frame the hip kicks like this. So you can be like doing all kinds of different moves, and then all of a sudden you stop and then the beat hits in the song. It's not melody anymore. It's more like, it's more like strong beat. So you can drop and then frame those hips, you know, with your arm just kind of to the side and kind of give me those hip kicks, right? So that's one way to frame it, is really by simply dropping. Or you can open and do the kicks. Okay, so it's really the easiest way to frame the kicks, is either opening or dropping. They're really not kind of other much. Like you don't want to do this and start doing the hip kicks because you really don't see anything. I see that sometimes. You can also do it where like you bring in the veils from the back, bring the veils from the back, kind of like this, and then do the kicks. You know, so you can do that, totally. As long as your arms are away and not hiding your hips, you can totally frame the hips and do hip kicks with that one drop. So that's about the drops and the kicks. The shimmy is kind of like the same thing really as the kicks, because they kind of require a little bit to be centered. So you can either kind of like drop the arms down and kind of shimmy, or open the arms up and shimmy. I really like the idea of like dropping, and then as you start shimmying, you start to open. You know, and then down. Or you can give the wings a feel like they're shimmying too, right? By doing that flutter thing, you know, like what we call the wing flutter. I think I taught you guys that in another video about the icy swings, like how to do the flutter. So the flutter is really all from the arms, but it kind of looks a little bit, you know, like you're shimmying. And it's honestly one of those hard moves to kind of like combine with the shimmy, unless you do what I like to call the, you know, we Arabs like to call the rasha shimmy. You know, it looks like, yeah, I'm freezing, you know. But it's more like, what did I call that in English? I think I called it something like, freezing. No, I could be wrong. It's kind of like a vibration shimmy where like you're not generating from the knees, but you're actually like pressing really hard against the floor, locking your knees. And the shimmy really comes mostly from your shaking your thighs, basically, and your quads. So it's kind of like this. It's really a small shimmy. You can't really see it. Like you see everything kind of shaking a tiny bit. And then you kind of like maybe try to do that a little bit with your wings. It's funny, my wings are like too big for me, so like my moves are not perfect, and then my sticks are like a little broken. I'm trying my best, right? So it's not perfect. It's not gonna look perfect. But anyways, it's easier. My point is, it's easier to do the flutter as you're opening your shimmy with that kind of shimmy, like the tension shimmy. Yes, that's what it's called, the tension shimmy. So putting a lot of tension on your knees, flat, heels, and the quads. So it's really like you're tensing. So you can do it easily with the tension shimmy rather than with the knee Egyptian shimmy, okay? Because it's really totally different moves that is hard to coordinate. You know, like if you're a beginner, it's really hard to do that. But anyways, I do like the idea of opening either with simple movements or kind of adding the flutter to it as you shimmy. So whatever you want. I personally like simple moves because they tend to look better, not so complicated, and you really know what's going on. So like if you shimmy in your knees, just kind of open slowly. Don't need to, you know, add like everything is shaking, like, you know, just one thing at a time is better. Okay, so that's how to frame the shimmy. You can also, if you're doing a side shimmy, you can frame it by extending to one side, then extend to the other side, extend, you know, so you extend the one arm obviously to the side that you're sliding the shimmy to. So that's one way you can do it. You can, if you want to do the choo-choo shimmy, but that requires you to do the spins, and that's, you know, another video where you're going to learn how to do the different spins. But you can also like start with choo-choo shimmy and then kind of like add a turn to it, like just a simple shoulder level turn. I do believe that's too much. I see people doing it. I personally prefer to just spin without any choo-choo shimmies, so I don't like framing the choo-choo shimmies too much. You can frame them like with an L-shaped arm, like if you're doing the travel, the side travel, you know, like this kind of thing. You can do that. But turning and spinning is a little bit too much. You don't really see the move, so you're just tiring yourself, you know. Kind of like boxers, you know, you don't want to use the energy for nothing. You want to use the energy when it actually looks good and gets you points, right? Let's see, what else? We can frame lots of different moves, honestly. I do believe that hip moves are better framed with dropping the wings down, things like, you know, figure eights, or if you just open and then pause, don't move too much, and then maybe add some Mayas, you know, reverse, down, you know, and then open, close, and then add some more, or bring maybe, you know, like I said, the wings to the back and do kind of like more of the same moves. So as long as the wings are away from your hips where you can't really like hide too much the movement, that's a good framing. So the other thing is you can also frame the chest movements and the head movements sometimes. And I'm not a big fan of head movements because I really don't think they're belly dance movements. They're more like Indian Bollywood movements, you know, things like you know. You know, I see that a lot. But if you are a fan of that, I'll tell you what to do, right? You can obviously kind of bring it up, right? Or you can bring it back, or you can bring one forward and one back, or you can frame your eyes, you know, just a little bit like that, and swing it and swing it and swing it. And because they are see-through, you can really see your belly movements. And when you do a cross like this, you're actually not hiding your entire body like when you're doing this kind of cross, right? So when you're doing one front, one back, you can still see the body motion, just frame the eyes and then hold it there. So you can frame the eyes, you can frame the head, and you can frame the chest with the same exact motion. And then do like some chest circles. It's kind of hard to do like chest shimmies And maybe you can, but it won't look good because one arm is up, one arm is down. It doesn't look very good. So don't try to do things that are going to look ridiculous just to prove that you can do it, you know. Just hold it like this and maybe some chest circles, and then bring it down, some hip circles, then hide the hips and some chest circles, then bring it down and some hip circles. It's just kind of a fun way to play with it. But you can use, obviously, the wings to do that as well. So just to wrap it up, you can frame the head, the eyes, the chest, the hips, hip drops, hip shimmies, hip kicks. I mean, not necessarily hip shimmies, but I mean like chuchu shimmies, Egyptian shimmies. So basically all the movements that you know, really. I mean, we can run into them later when we do other videos, but it's just a basic video to tell you that you guys, whatever you already know, the moves that you already learned, you can use those movements to frame them with icy swings, and that could be a really good start point when you're learning icy swings before you even get to the fancy stuff you can do with icy swing. So that's a really good thing to remember, because a lot of times when people get icy swings, you know, they just think, oh, wait, spin, turn, because honestly that's what looks really cool. But don't forget that you are belly dancing. I need to see some belly dance movements while you're holding this thing, right? So it's just a prop that you want to make sure that you use it as a prop, which is like the waves, the spins and all, but also use it as part of your body as a belly dancer. Therefore, you have to be doing some belly dance moves. So don't forget that, because you see this a lot where like somebody comes out with a prop and they're like prop, 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 prop. It's like the entire performance is just the prop, because it's all about the prop, because, you know, they want to show that they know how to do something, but they're really not dancing and enjoying themselves. So make sure you dance, enjoy yourself, have a great time, and really just embrace this prop as part of your dance, like a little friend, you know. So have fun, check out the other videos on icy swings, and have a great time learning them. I will see you guys in one of those videos, freebellydanceclasses.com. That's our website. Bye.